Dreaming of housing prices crashing nationwide in 2026? The data slaps you awake. J.P. Morgan Global Research forecasts 0% national growth as improving demand perfectly offsets rising supply. Home sales held firm through 2025's tail-end slump and now project gradual gains, per their analysis. Meanwhile, NAR's Lawrence Yun predicts 14% sales explosion nationwide. Sunbelt hotspots like Cape Coral Crater, 10.2%, Sarasota, 8.9%. But heartland metros stabilize with $396,800 medians barely budging 0.9% up. According to Realtor.com, 22 of top 100 metros face declines, creating buyer leverage unseen since pandemic madness. Yet no 2008 repeat looms. This calculated reset crushes uniform crash fantasies. Wages finally outpace 1%. Price creeps for first sustained stretch post-Great Recession, per Redfin. Buyers negotiate concessions without seller desperation, flooding auctions. Heartland tight inventory contrasts Florida listing tsunamis. Your market bending next? Dive deep as we shred J.P. Morgan, NAR, Zillow, Redfin forecasts exposing selective drops, not catastrophe. Hit subscribe to Housing Intel for predictions slicing through noise. J.P. Morgan kills national crash dreams stone dead. U.S. house prices flatline at 0% in 2026 after decade-long doubling. Slight demand lift from 4% wage gains and rising wealth effect exactly counters supply creep. Home sales firmed late 2025 after sluggish year, now projected higher as lock-in fractures. Fannie Mae eyes 0.5% whisper. Inflationary nothing amid incomes eclipsing medians. Existing sales climbed to 4.13 million annualized, under 2% gain from flat 4.07 million 2025 base. No plunge into abyss. Equilibrium emerges where sidelined millennials re-enter. Sellers list sans panic. Sunbelt and West Coast glut from pandemic overbuilding hammers locals hardest. Phoenix, Austin suburbs bleed inventory, while core markets hold. Regional splits crush one-size-fits-all bets. Oversupply screams bargains in Florida canals. Scarcity premiums rule Ohio steel towns. Tap subscribe to Housing Intel. Ghost chase ends here. Sunbelt bleeds deepest. Inventory tsunami drowning seller dreams. Realtor.com flags 22 top metros declining. Cape Coral plummets 10.2%, leading Florida's 7 giants minus Miami. Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton follows 8.9% slash. Post-pandemic build frenzy cools brutally. Endless canal view listings choke demand as work-from-home fades. Out-of-staters retreat. Peak buyers auction equity away. Local families flee inland, chased by $8,000 annual flood insurance. Texas mirrors. Austin overbuilt rings rot 90-plus days on market. $20,000 average concessions. Miami bucks as international cash cushions. But Tampa, Orlando sink under HOA hikes and hurricane scars. Midwest contrasts ironclad. Tight supply props, 396,800 national median, up 0.9%. Buyers swarm balanced battlegrounds negotiating 50-50. No bidding wars, no buyer freezes. Uniform crash narratives collapse. Sunbelt steals beckon cash flippers, while heartland holders sleep easy. Ring the bell for city-by-city strike zones. Mortgage rates thaw measuredly, unleashing demand without frenzy. 30-year fixed averages 6.3% nationwide per Realtor.com. Mid-sixes as Fed tames inflation without panic cuts. Fannie Mae targets 5.8 by December, sparking refis, but no buyer stampede overwhelming supply. Affordability inhales deeply. 4% projected wages eclipse home costs post-recession first time, drawing Gen Z and millennials back from sidelines. Yet 6% still stings $396,800 median, demanding $2,100 monthly principal interest alone. Sellers concede 2% below list nationally, 5% plus in glutted swamps. Pending sales surge, signaling buyer confidence. Lock contracts faster than listings, balloon unlike stalled Phoenix deserts. Nova-style resilience ripples outward. Local supply races 6 times national pace, balancing without blood. Northern Virginia's 1.23 months inventory proves model. Gradual warm-up fuels 4.3 million sales, sans volatility. This measured ease constructs volume steadily. Smash subscribe for live rate trackers. Inventory inches upward nationally. Builders slam brakes hard. Active listings nudge 1.22 million units, 3.4% growth year over year. Months supply dips 3.7, keeping faint seller edge alive. Home builders hoard unsold finished homes at peaks not seen since January 2010. Single-family starts crater 3% as incentives fail. Sunbelt developers panic with $60,000 price slashes. Rate buy-downs to 5%, free $30,000 upgrades, dragging comps into spirals. Heartland scarcity flips leverage instantly. Midwest metros average 35 days on market versus Florida's 90 choking. New construction specs yield 8% cap rates in balanced zones. Investors fleeing coastal distress sales chase yields. Seller golden handcuffs shatter completely. Sub 3% refi holdouts list as life events force moves. Equity unlocking relocations. Cherry-picking reigns. Days on market swell 20% nationally. Concessions climb everywhere. No inventory avalanche drowns values. Demand warms precisely as supply retreats. Redfin's glacial reset stabilizes masterfully. Perfect storm for normalization plays. Knowledge compounds returns. Hit like if math clicks. Wages finally conquer affordability's mountain, flipping power permanently. Redfin forecasts median sale prices ticking 1%, while household incomes surge 4%. Monthly payments grow slower than paychecks, first prolonged stretch since financial crisis aftermath. Home buying breathes. Still high 6.3 rates plus elevated baselines curb explosive demand. But wage edge empowers first-timers priced out 4 years running. Middle-class families reclaim ground. $2,100 mortgages absorb 30% incomes versus 45% pandemic peaks. Investor math transforms. 8-cap rentals pencil beautifully balanced metros, 15% ROI distressed Sunbelt flips after 10% concessions. Retirees holding peak purchases, weather stalls gracefully. Rents cover 6% notes plus insurance. Urban rebound accelerates post-remote work myth death. DC corridors, Midwest hubs swell with hybrid commuters betting schools over swamps. California exodus floods balanced flyovers, propping local medians without frenzy. Wage reset isn't temporary relief. It's structural shift empowering buyers long-term. Heartland holds become wealth builders. Coastal cash grabs yield fastest. Drop comment: wage warrior or flip hunter? Trump administration policies stir supply without sparking chaos. 2 housing reforms announced. Deregulation accelerates builds, permitting slashed. Yet J.P. Morgan deems market impact limited amid wage demand balance. Fed pauses aggressive cuts, watching inflation ghosts. Keeping 6s sticky without 5% euphoria. Builder loans ease as funds rate drops indirectly lower construction costs. boosting single-family 1% per NAHB's Robert Dietz. No silver bullet fixes affordability overnight. Stable 0 to 1% price growth persists. Remote work evolution completes. Urban cores reclaim premium as offices fill. Suburbs soften sans endless zoom. Investor retreat from overvalued coasts accelerates supply flood there. Prime bargains for deep-pocket patriots. Ohio, Indiana scarcity commands premiums defying national stall. Policy brew crafts delicate balance. Targeted supply relief meets organic demand thaw. No rupture. Measured recovery. Sun Belt overbuilders pay speculation tax, while Heartland thrives muted. Data trumps dogma every time. Your portfolio pivoted? Forecast convergence screams reset, not rupture across sources. Zillow warms modest growth post-April, minus 0.9% stall. Sales rising mid-6 rates steadily. NAR's 14% transaction boom meets Realtor.com's 4.13 million call, under 2% from 2025 flatline marks turning point. Marketplace charts, years-long builder inventory dump measured. No panic slashing. Axios flags, lingering affordability squeeze, but lower sixes ignite activity. Spring 2026. Sun Belt pain peaks Florida, 10% bloodletting. National 0% favors patient holders building equity quietly. 4.13 million sales projection, 3.7 months inventory equilibrium. Spring ignites measured surge. Distressed flips scream 15% ROI declining metros. Balanced capes yield steady 8% cash flow. Buyers' time entries now pre-rate cuts. Sellers list ahead, competition swell. No single nationwide drop moment. Selective pain unfolds today across 22 metros. Investors armed pivot flawlessly from hype to harvest. Regional deep dive. Sunbelt carnage versus Heartland fortress. Florida's Cape Coral canals drown under 10.2% plunge. 480,000 medians gap 65,000 local incomes catastrophically. Overbuilt 2,000 homes monthly unmet. Sarasota retirees face 8.9% equity evaporation. $12,000 insurances crushing fixed incomes. Texas Austin loops rot under 90-day tombs. 20,000 concessions standard. West Coast echoes softer. Phoenix outer rings /5% chasing families inland. Midwest counters brutally. Indianapolis 350,000 medians hold 0.5% gain. 28 days market velocity. Ohio Cincinnati scarcity props values. Wages matching perfectly. Nova proves hybrid model. 21% inventory explosion meets 7.3% pending surge. 675,000 stability. Collapse uniform? Laughable. Geography dictates destiny. Builder behavior signals bottoming patterns nationwide. Single-family completions peak unsold since 2010, trigger 3% start cuts. $60,000 incentives fail, moving speculative inventory. Sunbelt hoards desperate. Florida townhome swamps offer 5% rate buydowns. Free pools. Heartland builders ration wisely. 20% less starts propping local scarcity. Multifamily pivot accelerates. Rental towers yield 9% caps where families rent awaiting ownership window. Investor math flips. Distressed single-family flips crush 15% IRRs. Stabilized rentals lock 8% perpetual. Builders read tea leaves perfectly. Pullback timed preventing glut apocalypse. Supply discipline meets demand thaw exquisitely. 2026 housing prices stall national 0% per JP. Morgan, Sunbelt 22 metros 10%, plunges Cape Coral worst, rates 6.3 thaw sales, 4.3 million, NAR 14% boom. Inventory 1.2, 2 million, 3.4 up. 4% wages eclipse 1% prices, Redfin first post-recession. Builders minus 3% unsold peaks. Cape Coral chaos contrasts heartland holds. Wage reset empowers buyers structurally. Concessions, birth power sans 2008 scars. Equilibrium reigns. Equity builds quietly. Cap rates reward patient. Seas resets razor edge. Targeted declines spawn generational steals. Stability secures wealth compounds. Data becomes your unbeatable compass, steering through selective storms. Smash like button if crash myths shattered forever. Subscribe Housing Intel now for weekly 2026 forecasts. Metro drops mapped. Rate war breakdowns. Ring bell never miss edge. Comment below, Sunbelt flip target or Heartland hold strategy. We devour every Intel drop. Next breakdown exposes top 20 decline metros, exploding bargains. See you crushing markets.